Hey guys, welcome back to another week of e-commerce marketing chats with myself, Charles, and Jimmy. Jimmy, how's it going, mate?
Yeah, good. Sorry I missed last week. I've got the nasal spray ready to go this week and still not feeling 100%, but at least can get through a sentence this week without coughing up a lung. So yeah, be good to jump back in it, find out what you've been doing over the last 2 weeks and yeah, what's moving the needle for you in SEO world at the moment.
Yeah, no, it's been quite busy for me actually. Even just the last week, I brought on a couple of new clients, and so yeah, just the last probably half a week, I've been data, and more data. Starting off with
Me
SEO
too.
audits, and but learning a lot actually because it's I'm trying to build out a new kind of SEO audit process, and I'm using ChatGPT to guide me through and using something called Supermetrics. So it pulls through data from different source points. So yeah. Whereas
Does
before, yeah,
Supermetrics have a free version or do you have to get a paid version on that?
no, there is actually a free version is for a fortnight, and then yeah, you have to sign up to the paid version.
Okay.
But it's
So
not crazy money.
are you
Um,
testing it for a fortnight and then if you like it, you'll sign up? Is that what you're hoping to do with it? Yeah.
Pretty much,
Or
yeah. Or correct me out.
or test it out and then be like, hey, ChatGPT, build out my own version of Supermetrics.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But no, I've been really impressed. Just I think it's really valuable, like how well you can pull the data through from so many different source points. And actually, previously I was on a program, an SEO program by Ryan Stewart, well-known SEO, and they had like all these kind of scripts running, and they were basically just pulling through the data from Supermetrics, from my understanding. So all I'm doing is just, you know, cutting out the middleman and creating
Mm,
my own version and customizing based on what I
yeah.
need.
Well, you've got one more middleman to cut out at the minute, and that's Supermetrics. So I
Yeah,
think you'll get
we'll
there
see.
too. It's funny you talk about kind of importing data. I'm doing the exact same thing at the moment. I'm actually halfway through building a Shopify app that pulls the data that I need at a SKU level into the Google Sheets. And it's basically to compare what's selling on Shopify as the back end system, comparing to what's actually selling in the Google Ads and for me to find any kind of obvious products that I'm missing, and figuring out why they're not just showing on the Google Ads and diagnosing that. So this script basically just runs it, and the Shopify data pulls over the last 60 days, so I can compare sales on Shopify over the last 60 days with the sales on Google over the last 60 days, and be like, hey, uh, if a product's in this list and not in this list, highlight it for me, and then I can dive into it and figure out why.
Nice.
And especially when you're dealing with stores that have over 10,000 products, it's not viable to kind of do that process manually. It's just a waste of time. So I do work with a lot of large SKU accounts, so the data is just becoming more and more important, especially as Google tries to automate more in terms of them taking control of how your budget's spent, what products it's spending on. Um, I think the way to combat that is to have your own automations and it's spending the budget how you want it to be spent, not how Google wants it to be spent, which often isn't aligned.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm not on the pay side, but I hear that all the time, whether it's Google or Meta ads. It's like the default settings are always the ones that cost the client the most money, from my understanding.
Yeah, it's like, and when you think about it, Google's KPI is to get as much money as they can, whereas the client's KPIs are, hey, I want to get the most return out of this budget as I can. So, I mean, Performance Max, the display net, I'm not a fan of the display network unless you're really trying to drive home like brand awareness, which for most smaller business you wouldn't be going for. And if you are going for that, like I would recommend doing it on Facebook, not on the Google network. The Google targeting is just not as good as Facebook for display. It's much better, obviously, for search intent. But
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm very much in the data pulling process myself at the moment. So And I was speaking to some other people that do SEO and even some ones that I partner with on other accounts, and the conversation came up like, hey, how can we better work together to get like that 1 + 1 = 3 synergy? Like
Yeah.
you've got this data, I've got this data. How can we bring them together and um, kind of enhance what everyone's doing for the good of the client? So, yeah, I'm kind of hoping we can dive into that tonight. And I'm interested to find out kind of what data you're pulling and what's useful to you, and then can kind of run through what we're pulling and where you could see crossover. The other thing that we discussed today was potentially pulling data from the merchants, sorry, not the merchant center, the Google Search Console. Um, and basically, what they were saying was, so they've got people working on SEO accounts. They know where the data is, and some of them are juniors, but they don't have like the knowledge to interpret the data. Like they can see it all, but
Yeah.
um, they don't, and I'm sure they know what it means, but they don't know how to action it to like grow further. Um, Whereas if you and I were looking in a Google Search Console, be like, oh, this is a really good opportunity here based off this, and this. This is what I should write a blog on based on this, and this. Um, and yeah, I think that's kind of the missing thing. I think a lot of larger agencies have all the data. They just don't know what to do with it. Actually, I shouldn't say that because taken over a lot of accounts from larger agencies and they don't have the data. They haven't set up tracking properly. They're not running things how they should be. So they should have the data, but yeah, I think another thing on the data side that a lot of businesses need to solve is that unassigned data when they go into their Google Analytics. Because a lot of these bigger companies are using Google Analytics as kind of their source of truth, but their largest their largest kind of traffic source is unassigned or not set. So that's just screaming implement server side tracking, which we spoke about on the last call. So we won't dive into that heavily tonight, but I'm more interested in what data you're pulling, especially for the audit stuff that you just mentioned, Charles. I'm keen to know like what you're pulling to do your audits, what's important for you when you're looking at something and how to audit it, and basically, if anyone's listening to this now, like what would you recommend for them to do a self-audit basically on their e-commerce store for SEO?
Yeah. I guess the first thing that I would mention before we even talk about data, as we as the Aussies would say.
I said don't
Um,
make me laugh. You make me laugh.
um, yeah, the first thing I would say is that if first I would basically I would when I'm working with clients, often they're working with more than one agency. So they've got an SEO agency, they've got a paid ad agency, and they're not talking at all. So they might have the data available on either side, but they're not sharing it. So, you know, even just recently working with a client, and we've been working together for over a year now. They also had a paid ad agency that actually referred me and brought me to the table, and for about a year, we had a Slack channel set up, but there wasn't that synergy, and the client himself wasn't necessarily checking often. We weren't having regular meetings, and literally within the last, I would say, probably 2 months, we're having monthly catch ups where all the teams are getting together. So, SEO, Google Ads, the guy who manages the website, the guy who's creating the content and running the social media channels. And just in those two conversations that we've had via a Google Meet chat, we've got far more synergy, and we're now starting to use that Slack channel to communicate what we're doing on a regular basis. So yes, you can have all the data points and you can bring them all together under one platform, but if no one's actually communicating and synergizing, then it doesn't really mean much. So that would be the first thing that I would say is make sure that all the parties involved in your marketing are regular communication, because I think that's where the magic can happen really in terms of generating the best results. And there is so much overlap in terms of SEO performance and Google Ads performance, and what you can the data points in which you can refer to each different marketing channel. So that would be the first thing. I guess going back to SEO audits, what I'm kind of the data that I'm looking at the top level data points from Google Search Console. So I'm pulling through impressions, clicks, click through rate, um, and I'm aligning that against the landing pages on the site. So, and then I'm looking into Google Analytics. I'm looking at mainly looking at sessions, seeing if they've got conversions set up, so we can actually match that against each individual landing page. Unfortunately, when I'm working with new clients, their data isn't great to start with, or they haven't really got that set up. So there's not much that I can pull from that. And then I would also be pulling through certain kind of technical SEO things from Screaming Frog, which is a kind of
Yeah.
crawling software. So anything from index, like is the page indexed or not? That would be one column. How many links does each individual page have in terms of backlinks, and just matching all of them on that spreadsheet. And there's various things you can do with like VLOOKUPs on Google Sheets, so that you can pull through the data and then you can get it to match to the correct URL. So
I like
that's kind of
on
what I'm doing at
Screaming
the
Frog
moment.
too. Like, so people that haven't used Screaming Frog, it's more for like technical SEO analysis,
Yeah,
would you say, Charles? But yeah,
yeah,
I like when I have used it, I'm always using it for like 404 errors. I find it really helpful for that. And people don't know what 404 errors. It's when someone goes to a link on your page, but it doesn't work, so it just says a 404. And this happens in e-commerce a lot when uh, people no longer stock a particular item and just delete it off their store. So it might have been a bestseller for example, and they can't get it in stock anymore. It's like end of life, so they just delete it, and they don't put a redirect on it or anything. So just think about being in kind of the mobile phone space, and the iPhone 12 or whatever. Obviously, it's an older version. You can't buy that anymore on the retail stores. So they just delete it as soon as it's not available, because they're not getting it back in. Rather than showing out of stock, it's no longer there. So, but it still might be indexing in Google for a period of time. So people are coming through on that link, going to your website. It's just like, hey, 404, this page doesn't exist. So actually, it's probably on the SEO front, Charles, before you go back into your auto. Just remind me to pick that up again, because I'm curious to know how you handle kind of end of life products, and I'll go into how we're doing it and what you think about it as well, because yeah, that might be an interesting combo as well.
yeah, for sure. The other thing I also will pull through is the current SEO title and meta description. And also I find that Screaming Frog is a great way to quickly see which meta descriptions are missing, uh, and often that is a common theme, certainly with larger scale e-commerce stores that have got a lot of pages, or sometimes the descriptions are way too long, so we need to look at optimizing them. So that's another kind of column, or a few columns, that I would pull through onto the master audit spreadsheet, to me to start analyzing. Um, there's kind of the next step.
In terms of what you're using Supermetrics for, where does that come into it, and what data are you pulling with that?
So Google Analytics data, Google Search Console, Screaming Frog. I actually pull that through manually, so it's just really download the CSV file and then copy and paste.
Do they
Um,
have, does that app have like an API you can hook into or not?
I think it probably does. I'm just yeah, it was just for me. It was just quicker to pretty much copy and paste.
Mm.
the data I needed on that front. Um, and then also SEM Rush as well. So it'll pull through rankings data based on the top performing keyword, or what SEM Rush assumes the top performing keyword is for each individual URL. So I'll get some rankings data as well.
I think on the like the audit side, it's interesting to know what you're looking at. But even I don't know why this week, but I feel like I've been targeted by SEO content across my socials. But even just the small snippets that pop up, I know I shared one creator with you just the other day, Charles, but I just liked what he was doing. It's like, do this, this, and this to check this. And then I would just go and do it to have a look at it. I'm like, oh, that's like a really cool insight. But there was like hundreds of them, which makes me think, oh my gosh, like there's so many data points that you could look into, so many things you could check to see what's wrong or how to grow. And it, for some people, it becomes overwhelming. But just seeing that, it's like, how many people are just not even doing any of this stuff? Whereas they could just pick five of these things that they could implement this week, and it would just have that compounding effect. I'm finding more and more the businesses that I work with that just take action are the ones growing. And for example, let me give this for example. This week, I had a chat with a client. We've been working on the Google Merchant Center, cleaning that up. And they were ranked. Their quality store was ranked at a great level, but we were hoping to hit the exceptional level. We changed up a few things. We got their product feed working. We got their returns policy active, which had just been denied like for months and months. So we got that working. We cleaned up all the things that weren't working, and now just today actually, their store's been ranked as kind of an exceptional quality store. And it might sound like nothing, it's just a Google ranking, but the good thing about it is kind in the organic shopping tab, it gives your store a badge kind of for an exceptional quality. And it just makes it stick out a bit more. So it's a bit more real estate. And I do see that the clients that get that badge do see a slight uptick in kind of free clicks as well. So it kind of plays into the organic space as well, Charles. Like for those free listings that come through the merchant center, getting that store to an exceptional kind of level that helps kind of tick that up as well. So, but the thing is, I told this client what was wrong. I was like, I need this, this, and this. Within the hour, they had it all to me, and like I was able to action it for them straight away. Whereas client B, I need this, this, and this. 2 months have gone by. I haven't heard anything. Like I've been
Yeah,
following up, haven't got what I need. Store one has now an exceptional rated store, and we'll be able to see the uptick this week. Store two is trending downwards. Like,
I
and
know.
then, you know, they're stressed about tariffs and this and that. And it's like, come on, guys, like, let's get this rolling. Like, it's frustrating sometimes. And but yeah, like I don't get me wrong, working with the proactive clients is a little bit more work in terms of put it this way. So I just have to do my standard management on the ones that I never hear back from. The ones that are proactive, I'm having to keep implementing because they're so quick. So I'm doing the work. So like they are a little bit more work because they're giving me what I need so I can do the work. The ones that don't give me what I need, they're a little less work because I can't do it. So
Yeah, I certainly know the feeling there. I've definitely been in those scenarios. Like I said, it's actually very frustrating. And from a service provider's point of view, uh, an agency point of view, you actually do want to you do actually really want to do the work and do a good job for the client because it reflects good on you as well. It's
yeah.
when the frustrating part is when you're not able to get what you need and then the results suffer, and then at some point the client turns around and says, "Oh, why aren't we getting the results that you promised us?" Well, you kind of need to. It's you need two to tango. It's a two.
I'm very
It's a
I'm very
collaboration approach.
I'm very self-sufficient in most of my stuff, but there is occasions where I do need something from the client, and that's when, those kind of things are held up. So yeah, I don't like I don't often need the client to provide me anything, but sometimes, like for the reviews, I need access to their review platform to connect it. So unless they're willing to do it themselves, which a lot of the time they're not. So, hey, can you get me login access to this review platform so I can connect it to your Google Merchant Center? And it's little things like that, like that aren't directly aligned with like the Google Ads management itself, but it's part of, I'm fixing the Merchant Center helps, everything. So it's kind of, I just throw it in there and do it. But yeah, there's some times where I need their input. Another good example is I use a product feed manager on Shopify called SimProcess. And sometimes my access level doesn't allow me to, install paid plugins on their website. So I'll be, asking them to install the app, and sometimes it'll be like a month before they even install it. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's the
yeah. I mean,
things that are outside your normal flow, usually where you need the client input or need additional access or something like that.
yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. It's yeah. I find with SEO as well. Like I need to be in synergy very closely with what they're doing from a web development design point of view. And if you've got no one steering the ship from that front, it can certainly be yeah, more challenging. So it is what it
Let's
is.
talk
It's
let's talk about your SEO sprint off, Charles. Mainly because like we've got you're working with someone that I know quite closely in on that at the moment. Like when you implement that, one, what are your goals? I know they're to kind of clean up the fundamentals, but what are your goals? What in your ideal world do you hope that the client sees in kind of a results capacity after that sprint? And then I know it's kind of a 3-month sprint. What outcome do they have after that to help them going forward? If that makes sense.
yeah. So I mean, really, I want to be seeing some uptake in fundamentally traffic. But first steps is we need to get some improvements in rankings, and often the types of clients that I'm bringing on board for this sprint, they're really starting from scratch. They haven't really got that much presence. There is occasions where they are ranking for some decent keywords, but they're not really doing much. They haven't really done any SEO in the past. So their pages need optimizing first and foremost. So really, we're getting the kind of foundations in place. I'm running an audit to start with because I want to have a proper deep dive on what their current situation is at the moment. So I'm looking at firstly key SEO elements, and then I'm also doing a website review. So how can we improve conversions on the site? Because typically the site from a design perspective is not great. And actually on this situation, I referred the client to a web designer developer that I've worked with closely on another client who's been really good, and it's been great because he's now working on getting a really high converting homepage and product page like template that we can then execute on the site alongside the work that I'm doing as well. And that's going to make a really big difference because if you don't have a strong website, it's you're pushing uphill trying to get the
Mm.
SEO to work because there are certain ranking factors that play into the website. So things like time on page, um, you know basically Google will look at things like that and establish, okay, is this a quality site or not? And if people are clicking onto a website and then pretty much bouncing straight off of it, there's a clear indication that's probably a low quality site that they don't want to rank. So it's important that we have that synergy. So yeah, we're looking at everything from audit, user experience review, doing the on-page SEO. So making sure all the elements on all of the core pages are optimized. And then after, what I'll do is I'll sit down with them and I'll do the strategy session. So we'll look at, okay, we fixed the foundations. We've got those in place now. We're seeing some improvements in rankings. What else can we now do to start boosting your rankings further and also driving more traffic growth? So everything from your content strategy to building out a backlink strategy as well. And I'd kind of guide them through that process, and added in some kind of ongoing coaching consultancy support. So it's kind of like implementation to start with, and then I give you the necessary guidance on how to continue that process. So even if you can't, you're not at the stage to be able to work with me and for me to implement at every stage, I can at least be in your corner guiding you through how to do that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Sorry, Jim, I'm getting up. I've, I don't know if you hear that noise. I'm getting I updated my Mac and I've somehow synced this iPhone mirror. So you basically get notifications that are popping up on your phone that are coming through to my
Oh, it
MacBook
happens on
now. And
my
it's a
happens on
real,
my computer too. I didn't set it up either, but I'm
uh,
I'm Windows and a Samsung, so it's happening on there too. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
noticed that the other day. I got a text message on my phone and it popped up on my laptop. I was
It's
like,
driving me
"What's
mad.
going on?" I
Yeah. And I'm
can't
not sure.
I can't hear the sound though. So
Okay.
if well, I didn't hear it when it came through, unless I was coughing up a lung when it came through and I missed it. But yeah,
Oh no, it's quite loud. It's quite loud. So hopefully it doesn't show on the recordings. Apologies, guys, if it does.
I
um,
think I'm trying to like at the moment. I think like where can let's talk about like where like paid ads and SEO intersect and where they can help each other. I've had a few of these conversations before, so I've got some ideas. For example, when I do like a product SKU analysis, I often group them by product type, which some SEO companies have said, oh, this is actually really good data because we know which kind of pillars to focus on the product type level, which I hadn't actually considered or thought about for SEO. And then obviously there's a crossover pretty heavily on the product titles because the more kind of keyword rich and relevant those product titles are, the better those products are going to perform in paid shopping ads. But
yeah.
also the better they're going to do in, Google organic search. So there's crossover there too. Um, I, yeah, it's one of
So,
these things. It's like I want to kind of assist SEO more. I just don't know where or what data they're using to make decisions, if that makes sense.
yeah, I mean, I think Google Ads is super valuable because you're able to get quicker data on conversions. So you can
Mm.
set up a landing page, you can run ads to it, and you're able to quickly see whether that page converts to an actual sale or not, which is really useful for SEO because we can then take that data and then we can, you know, either use that same landing page and optimize it from an SEO perspective, or we can create new content very similar that's going to get that page to rank organically in Google. So I think there's certainly some crossover there. I've also found that I when a SEO landing page performs well, if I share that data with the Google Ads guys, if I'm working with a client that's got an agency, they're very thankful because then they can then sometimes they're not running ads to that page. So we can then run ads to that page as well. So I think, like I said, communication is the biggest thing. The data's out there. Like if the data's available, it's just making sure that the people that are responsible for either SEO or Google Ads are speaking to each other and they're in synergy.
I think another thing that we've spoken about previously as well is um, kind of the infomercial pages, or
Yeah.
the advertorials or whatever you want to call them. like if I know that they've been created and they're built to convert as like a sales page, then I can send, like what you said, Charles, I can send traffic to them, and then you can get pretty quick um pretty quick insight into what's converting. The hard thing for me is working with every SEO is different because some just focus on technicals, some are only doing like backlinks. So you set up this system to give, SEOs the data, but then they don't even need it because they don't do that part of SEO, or they're not focusing on that. And there's like so many different realms. Oh no, we're only doing backlink building, or oh no, we're only doing this or that. So or we're only doing on page, or we're only doing the technical cleanup stuff. So yeah, it's I
Yeah.
wish I just had a standard system like, hey, here's all the data, go use it for your SEO stuff.
Yeah. I mean, my personal opinion on that is like, for me, a link building expert or agency is not a full scale SEO, you know, specialist. They're focused on one area. Therefore, um, when a link building agency say like we're the SEO agency for that client, I'm like, no, you're the link building agency. Like you're not looking at the overall SEO strategy. And really, for me, the best SEOs are they don't specialize in like really well in every aspect. They've got a really good overview of all the different pillars of SEO. And they may be stronger in one area than another. Like I'll be honest, like when it comes to the link building side of things, that's not necessarily my forte. Like I'm very good at building out the strategy and executing an overall strategy and working with different departments and focusing on the on page and the technical and the content side. The link building, that's still an area that often I've actually worked with link building agencies and outsourced that part.
Yeah,
It's certainly an
I
area that
think
I'm actually wanting
our
to
our
work on,
mutual
but
friend, our mutual friend Russell, like he would see himself as specializing in link building. He runs a link building agency, and from everything that I've heard, he does it quite well too. So,
yeah, I've used him in the
yeah,
past. He's good. Yeah.
yeah, I know what you mean about. I hadn't even thought about it like that because I mean, there's the same with Google Ads. I mean, some people just specialize in the shopping. Some people just specialize in lead gen. Like, I won't take on lead gen clients because it's a totally different skill set than working with e-commerce. And all the systems and data analysis that I build out is specifically for like large skew e-commerce businesses. So it
Yeah.
makes sense looking at it that way on the SEO world too, that they're just focusing on their one little niche. The difference is, you're right, like I would call myself the Google Ads agency for that, even though I'm not doing lead gen and all that other stuff. I'm just focusing on one thing because usually that one thing is what the client does, if that makes sense. But for
Yeah.
SEO, they should always be doing like all the pillars that do exist.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I think there's probably just there's a lot of different facets when it comes to SEO, and it's just a very it can be very time intensive. However, I think AI is certainly speeding that process up in a big way.
I think it's
Um,
changed, like, even for both of us. I mean, you messaged me yesterday saying, I can't live without ChatGPT.
yeah,
I'm learning so much, I'm doing so much on it. I'm the same. I've been on it probably minimum 2 hours a day. Like, that's how
yeah,
much I'm using it recently. But I'm using it to build, and it's actually really exciting, and I actually love it. It's Before, there's always been this barrier to entry for technical stuff because you'd have to hire a developer, or you'd have to hire someone to help you build it. Now you don't need that. So you're able to just get in a workflow and put out all your creative ideas, and you've got basically a coworker sitting right in front of you that can help you build it. And every question that you have, you can just fire it one after the other, and without being annoying. Like,
yeah.
the AI is not getting annoyed with your 10,000 questions, uh, but it's helping you to build. Well, it's helping me to build things that I've envisioned previously but just never had kind of the technical capacity to get it done. Now that's all changed now. And I'm actually thinking, like, 'cause I love agency life. I love working on Google Ads accounts, but it's like I could actually build one of my own businesses that I've been wanting to build for a long time, that I've needed technical, like, developers to help me get off the ground. I wouldn't need them at the moment,
Yeah.
to get that off the ground. So, I mean, people talk a lot about how many jobs are going to be lost with AI. I think it also brings up a lot of opportunity for those who haven't been able to explore what they wanted to explore for limitations around like technical implementation. I think that opens the door massively for those people.
Mm. Yeah, look, I think for those that are more entrepreneurial minded, it's really going to benefit them. It's for those that, you know, go to work and go through just mundane tasks. Those are going to be the people that are going to be in trouble. And I think, yeah, people need to realize that they're going to need to reskill on some level. And just, even if, for me, if you can spend, you know, an hour a day just using one of these AI tools, pick your choice, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever you decide you prefer, and you did that for a year, you'd be amazed at how proficient you are in and how much you're able to get done, and improve on the output of your work. So it's
Uh,
just
and just you can start simple. Like if you've got kids, use AI to write a book for your kids. I was actually talking to Jody's my wife, about this the other night. Like where there's certain lessons that we want to teach Leo at the moment in certain phases that he's going through. It's like, let's write a book about this and publish it. And we already
yeah.
know what he likes and what he's interested in, so we can tailor that book to that and teach him the lessons that we want to teach him within that book.
Yeah, no,
And
it's true. I mean, it's like I was talking to my old man the other day, and he was saying that yeah, he started writing like a memoir about his life, like and he starts it, and uh, it's he's halfway through it, but he started it 2 years ago. And he's
yeah,
like, "Do you reckon like ChatGPT can write this for me?" I'm like, "Yes, Dan. Like, you just need to
yeah,
prompt it, give it the notes, and
yeah. It's not
so
even that. It's, hey, ChatGPT, ask me 100 questions about my life that will help
yeah,
you start piecing together a memoir for me to publish. And the question, and then you don't even have to think, because you're just answering the questions that it's
yeah,
giving you, and then it pieces things together for you. I use that prompt all the time for a lot of things. Ask me any questions that will help you give me a better response. And then it asks me all these things, and I fill them all out. I'm like, oh yeah, that's relevant. Oh, that's relevant. Oh, I won't answer that. Oh, that's relevant. And then I answer them all, and it gives me a much better response. I think for us, especially in terms of reskilling, I think we're both reskilling in different ways. Like our businesses are changing. We're able to analyze the data a lot better and a lot quicker than what we have been previously. And for me, the knowledge that we both have is super important in building out these systems, because I've seen scripts that other people have. I've seen what they use for analysis. I'm like, yeah, it's good, but it's like not what I would use to analyze my own clients. So with my knowledge, I can create the exact comparisons and the exact data that I want and how I manage accounts. So when people come to work with me, sure, AI is speeding up a lot of things for me, but they're getting my knowledge and they're getting it put through a system that can analyze their account much quicker, and they can get the results much quicker. So it's changing my business a lot, because I'm more overseeing the strategy and using systems that I've built. Keep this in mind, the client doesn't own these systems, so it's it's a sticky point. Like everything we do within the Google account, they completely own. But all our analysis systems, like I own all them. Like that's my IP, and that is what we use to make the decisions in the accounts, and that's what's improving in my business at an extraordinary rate, due to the fact that I can build out these things that I was not capable of doing 12 months ago. So
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's crazy. I think also one point I wanted to raise because people are probably hearing us week after week talking about AI all the time, and they're probably thinking, okay, so they're talking about AI, but they also talk about SEO and Google Ads. Like, are like is Google still relevant anymore? And one scenario from this week kind of made me realize that you know Google is by no means dead. Like I was looking into a client account. This is a new client that I've started working with, and this is just one of their domains. And in the last 90 days, they've had 256,000 organic clicks from Google. And it's like people were saying, no one's using Google. And yes, look, I'll be the first to admit that I am using the chatbots and AI tools more than I am Google at the moment. But I think, when it comes to e-commerce in particular, um, people are still often preferring to go to Google to search for products just because they trust Google a little bit more in terms of the results, I think. And it's going to take
yeah,
time. Like
it's
we're at the forefront of technology in terms of, you know, using this within our business, but for the average person, they're not probably using ChatGPT to look for products or and then purchase a product
I think they
as
will very soon,
it will happen. It
especially
will happen.
because ChatGPT have just kind of introduced their e-commerce kind of search function. The th the issue I have with that at the moment is how it's choosing these products. It's like it's not super transparent about how they're finding it. Is it the best one? Like obviously I like Google because I can price compare and see very quickly on their shopping tab
Yeah.
all the products, whereas AI would be picking out a select few for you, which is great if you know exactly what you're looking for. And it'll get to the point where you just type in the features and benefits of the exact product that you want, and then it will show you the products related on that, which is it's going to make your SEO and filling out all the meta fields and everything related to the product so much more relevant because AI is going to use all those little key marks to choose the recommended product, like making sure that the color meta fields taken out. I'm just thinking of runners, for example, just because I've been looking at it this week, like whether they're wide fit, whether they're for overpronators, whether they're for neutral feet, whether they're for low arches, high arches, like putting in all that data in the meta fields of the product is going to be so much more important with AI coming because Google doesn't really use that data, I don't feel very well, whereas that's where AI is going to really encroach on their space because it will use that data well. And people are just going to have to upload their product feed to AI and AI will analyze it all and choose the best product for the customer that's searching for it in a particular price range. So you can imagine you upload your product feed to AI, and then it's got all the little quirks of each product, and then someone's searching for an exact product with that quirk. If it's in the meta fields, it's gonna serve that product. So I think the SEO on the like filling out every detail on for the products in the meta fields is going to be way, way, way more important over the next couple of months.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. No, look, it's yeah, search behavior is certainly changing in real time. I think it's just how quickly that happens, that will be the question. But from what I'm seeing in the data, there's still a huge amount of traffic that is coming from organic search on Google. Um, so
When I
only
think
time will tell.
when I say I'm using AI a lot, I'm basically using it to code. When I say I'm sitting on AI for like 1 or 2 hours, I'm not sitting there asking it, you know, questions about my life. I'm like, hey, code this. Hey, there's something wrong with this. Change this. Hey, I need this changed on this, or I got this error message. Can you diagnose it? Like, they're the majority of my
Yeah.
conversations.
Yeah, it's being used more as either an assistant or a mentor or guidance
Yeah.
rather than necessarily
I think when people think that you're using AI, it's like, oh, they're just saying one thing and everything's automated. Like, no, it's like the website that I built with AI like 2 weeks ago took me like 50 hours. Like it was a solid thing. But like if I didn't have AI, one, it never would have happened. And two, if I was Google searching or watching YouTube videos, it would have taken me 6 months. Like not
yeah.
50 hours. It would have taken me 6 months.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, the next frontier, and I've kind of been watching a bit of content on this is really AI agents. It's like the first phase of what we're talking about is like you need to actually prompt it and go back and forth, and you still have to execute certain tasks yourself. But with AI agents, you effectively give it a responsibility and it goes off without necessarily your constant super, I can't remember.
Supervision, yeah.
That's the word. And we'll do the and do the tasks themselves, which is quite yeah. I'm not sure if I'm ready to give full access to my, you know, to an AI agent to go off and scroll the internet and, come back with information. There's certainly some security um, questions I have on that, but I'm sure that will be resolved like anything. People were scared to input their card details, weren't they, and pay for
Yeah.
things over the internet. So, um, yeah, things will change. But yeah, AI
I think
agents
that I
certainly is the
think
next
that's
thing.
been negated a bit with how much easier it is to just cancel your card when something goes wrong. I think back in the day you had to ring your bank and um, yeah, you weren't sure, or you wait a couple of days, but yeah, and with the rise of softwares like Wise and Airwallex, I create a I create a new card for nearly every subscription, and then if I want to cancel it the subscription. A lot of the time, I don't even cancel the subscription. I just cancel the card.
Yeah, I don't use it like that, but yeah, I guess you can if you want. It's because you're
But
right.
the only
You
reason
sometimes
I did
forget.
that is because I forget which service it was,
Yeah.
but they made it super hard to cancel. I had to email support, and then I didn't hear back. I'm like, oh, bugger this. I just created a new card after I paid what I needed to, and then when I needed to stop it, I didn't bother calling them at all. I just cancelled the payments.
It's an easy way of doing it, I guess. Yeah.
But
Fair enough.
yeah, and I think like we both use Wise for our agency, and I only know that because we had a joint transaction over it this week. So, um, but yeah, there's a lot of tech coming out at the moment. I think if you're I'm keen like that SEO content creator that I sent you through this week, Charles. Like, I'd love to see some of that kind of content from you so we can punch it out to our group. Just because, and I need to do the same on the Google Ads front. So I think that kind of content's like super helpful and people are following it. So let's have a chat about that and see if we can put together some things or
You know,
even
yeah, I was just gonna say because I shared in the group a while back. I updated the keyword research blueprint that I initially created. This was, I think, back in 2020 was the first version that I ever created of it, and I updated it for this year. But I was looking at the weekend and I was making some adjustments to it to add more AI like processes into it. Like how can you use ChatGPT for keyword research? So yeah, once I've got that updated, I'll share that again in the group. So for anyone that wants a copy, then yeah, I'll post it in there. But you're right. I think how can we use these tools and educate people on how to do some of the SEO work or some of the Google
We
Ads
should
work
run we
themselves.
should run a competition or something. We should put like $500 on a head, and first one to 1,000 videos like takes the pot type thing. 'Cause we just have a race to like 1,000 videos, and I think by the time we got to those 1,000 videos, like the $500 would be irrelevant because it would have like built out so much content and goodwill in the market that it would have paid itself off 100-fold by that time anyway.
Yeah. Although saying that, I mean, yeah, one of the reasons actually why me and Jimmy started, these weekly chats is because we knew that we needed to create content, and we were, I think both procrastinating on it. And I think now we're like what, 25 episodes. I think
Yeah,
this might be
something
the
like
25th, 26th episode in.
I
So
this is definitely the easiest way to create it. Like I don't hesitate. It's like, hey, I'm jumping on a chat with Charles this week and just going to chat about what I've been doing in e-commerce this week. It's the easiest thing to do. Um, but yeah, so like you're much better at clipping than I am, so I like seeing the clips that you put out and knowing it's from our podcast. Like, cool, Charles is using this content. I need to get better at it. But yeah, it's just like, what's that? If we've done 25 episodes, that's 25 hours of content.
yeah, actually, I'm excited. The When I logged on to Riverside, which is what we're recording on right now, you may have seen last couple of weeks going viral where they take like celebrities and turn them into
Oh,
baby
into
versions.
babies? Yeah.
They've actually got that now on Riverside. So I'm actually going to try it with one of our clips
Oh
and see
God.
what it turns
Do
out
they
like.
need like, how do they do the baby images? Like, do they take it from your actual image, or do you have to
Yeah, they're gonna.
upload a photo as you a kid, or what?
No, no, take it from your actual image. Just, yeah,
Please do. I will post that on my I'll post that on my Facebook page for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. See how it comes out.
I thought that was hilarious. So we might
Yeah,
have, we might have to we've got 10 minutes to think of a better clip that we can do for something like that. So let's do
yeah.
it now. Like Charles, what are the five main things that someone running an e-commerce store can do in SEO this week to kind of see results? Five little things that they can do this week to see some results in SEO.
Uh, Make sure that you've got written, optimized meta descriptions and also SEO meta titles. Um, Create 5 to 10 blog articles using AI. And even better, if you've got video content and you're posting regularly on YouTube, basically take those video transcribes and convert them into blogs using AI. So you can pull that through. What else would I do? I would look and see what connections you have within your industry and see if there's any link building opportunities. Um, so, can you get featured on certain publications? Can you sponsor an event that also has an event website so you can get a link back to your store? Um, I would I'd also do a site review as well. I'd look at, install something like Microsoft Clarity and see where people are clicking, um, and trying to make an assessment on what needs to improve to get your conversions up. Those are a few things that I would look at. What about you, Jimmy? What's from a Google Ads perspective? What's kind of 5 simple things that you would do?
Yeah, so if you're looking at things that you just want to check off the list to make sure that it implemented correctly, one, your tracking. So you need to make sure that your tracking's right. We spoke about it earlier. Have a look at your Google Analytics, and if the number one thing in your traffic channel is unassigned or not set, start to look at a better way to track or even look at server-side tracking. So number one is sort out the tracking. Number two is have a deeper dive into what products are actually selling for you, how important they are, whether they're coming out of stock soon or not, especially if you're running over 1,000 products. You need to have a better insight into which products are actually profitable for you, which ones aren't, and which ones you need to kind of spend less on advertising. I don't think enough uh, people running e-commerce have any idea how each individual product is doing for them on paid ads. They just look at their monthly report, see we spent this much, we got this much in return. They have no idea what products even contributed to that. So number two, I would definitely look at that. Number three, go in and have a look at your Google Merchant Center. Start cleaning it up, put in all the data that's needed in there. And if you on the side, there's actually a quality store rating. Try to move yours up to the exceptional level. Start taking the steps to get yours to an exceptional uh, level for your store. Number four, touches on what Charles said. Go in and have a look at your Google Search Console because there's a lot of data in there around keywords that you can use or even bid on for additional conversions. Create a advertorial blog post that's built to convert, but do it based off data. It's one of the biggest issues people have with writing blog posts. They just write what they think is going to hit. Write blog posts based on data so you're not guessing, and the thing that you write is going to take off. I think number five, if you want to improve your Google Ads, jump in the group and have a chat to me and we can have a look, a deeper dive into what's going on your account, and we'll take it from there.
That's good. Let's see what the baby version of Jimmy says when that comes out.
Oh, I didn't want to laugh tonight. I'm still crook, but I'm feeling much better than last week. It would have been a horrible show if I came on last week. So I'm glad I didn't cut it in. But yeah, I think we've kind of given some at least takeaways. I think data analysis at the moment is so important. It's honestly what's going to set the businesses apart at the moment, because if everyone's using Google's PMax system, which is one campaign in the basic PMax system, like they've got no levers to pull really if that's all they're
Mm,
doing. So if things go bad, it's like, oh, how do we fix this? Oh, we can't. We're just running a one performance max campaign. So we just have to hope that it comes back. So hoping is a horrible strategy
yeah.
in the Google Ads world, but yeah, we're definitely hitting the age now of making better decisions based on a lot more data. I think the data has always been available, but it hasn't been accessible for a lot of freelancers in how it is now in such a large capacity. Like before, I was not able to analyze the level that I am now of a store that has, 5,000 plus products.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's able to pull things through much better. And yeah, no, data is super important. Super important. It
I
does make
think,
a difference.
yeah, I keep thinking about one of your clients, Charles, that it's probably got 60% of their products missing because of shipping rate issues on their merchant center. It's like, surely they can sort that out now with AI. Like,
Yeah.
surely.
Yeah. Well, I think we had a conversation about that the other week with the ad agency. So yeah, hopefully that's something that certainly can be looked at.
But yeah, as always, guys, if you've got any other questions, come join us in the Shopify Marketing Secrets on Facebook, or drop us a comment here on the YouTube video at Ecommerce Marketing Chats. So Charles has actually done a bit of work on the rebranding that I've seen too. So I went into the Facebook group the other day just to apologize for me not making the call, and I saw a big photo of myself on the banner. So
Yeah, I changed the also the URL matches the name of
oh, there you
the
go.
group now as well. So yeah, we're getting some we're leveling up. The editing still just post it out and be done with it, but one step at a time. We're getting there.
Sounds good. All right, guys. If you've got any other questions, hit us up on those locations, and we'll see you next week.